Hello, welcome to Wheels. And guess what? Today we're going to start our first installment of Car of the Week. And it's going to be with this beautiful 1980 Fiat X19 designed by Bertoni. So give me just a minute. We'll get the owner mic'd up and we'll start the interview. Hello, Chet, and welcome to the channel.
Hi, I'm Chad. I'm the owner of this 1980 Fiat X19. And we've had it for about 3 years now. We spent a year down with doing repairs and completing our third adoption, so that took some time away from working on the car. We found this car out in Nebraska through my brother-in-law.
Really?
And we were able to rescue it and bring it back. Arrived at my house as a non-runner, had a broken starter gear in it, changed out the starter, and she came back to life. And then we showed her for a year and did a lot of shows. We put almost 1,200 miles on it that year to get into 2021. And at the beginning of the season, the first show ended up blowing a head gasket. So
oh, wow.
We went down for about a year trying to get parts during COVID. Not a real hard car to get parts for. You can get a lot of parts through a lot of your big box suppliers, things like that. That's the first question I get at a show is, where do you find parts for it? Believe it or not, a lot of the big retailers will have parts for this car.
Like Rock Auto, AutoZone?
Rock Auto, AutoZone, O'Reilly, all of them do a pretty good job about keeping all that stuff together in stock and things like that.
Cool.
Now, shipping during COVID was interesting, as we know, with all the shortages and everything
Supply
that they talk
chain
about.
issues.
But we were able to get it. We blew the head gasket, ended up having to do some major surgery. First time of pulling a motor out of this car was a really interesting experience.
Yeah, you said it actually comes out through the bottom.
Yeah, you drop it out through the bottom and you hook the engine hoist to the car instead of the motor, and you pick up the car and slide it out through a wheel well. Got some interesting looks from the neighbors when that was going on in the garage. The guy across the street was mowing the lawn, just stopped to watch. But once we got that done, it's a 1500 cc four-cylinder.
Okay.
With a 5-speed manual transmission. It's not a creature comfort car. It's definitely a very analog car. And that's kind of the fun thing about it. It's an analog driving experience. You don't have power brakes. You don't have power steering. It's a very manual driven car.
It's a driver's car.
Yeah, it truly is. When it was designed, it was supposed to be the most affordable open air roads or sports car in the United States. So they definitely got their ideas of how they were going to do that. The Bertoni design studio, it's got the classic Fiat line, or the classic Italian lines in it. And it's interesting to see this car from the 80s and you see design concepts that are being done still to today. The integrated front spoiler lines and the contemporary design of the car really shows through.
Now, you were telling me Bertoni also helped design the Lamborghini Countach.
Yeah, the Countach and several other studios there. At the same time, its brother or sister, however you want to put that, the 124 was designed by Pininfarina.
Okay.
So the Italian design studios were really involved with Fiat at the time. So you can kind of see some of that stuff. Kind of the design things that you don't recognize until somebody points them out is like the door handles are off of a Ferrari at that time.
Really?
The same door handles. The actual latch system in the car to open the back trunk and engine cover are the same ones in the Countach, except for you get one design feature better, and that is they're locking.
Really?
You can actually lock the ones in the X19 and the Countach. You cannot.
Really?
So some really cool stuff when you really look at it as an affordable car. Of course, at that time, the Triumph was a competitor. Mm-hmm. Porsche, the
914 or
914s, I think.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to set speed records, you're not going to do it in the car.
1500 cc four-cylinder, I guess not.
87 horsepower on its best day. It is a carbureted car. 1980, you could either get carbureted or fuel injection.
Okay.
This is a carbureted car. So it's really interesting when you take this to the show, because a lot of people will mistake it for a DeLorean because it's silver. It's all I can figure.
Really?
And a lot of people will think that it's the Back to the Future car, and we obviously know that there's nothing similar to a DeLorean.
I remember at Meadowbrook in the spring, people were just flocked around your car. It was hard for me to get any time with it.
Yeah, it draws a lot of people. It's a quirky car, and people are drawn to it. I mean, if you go through the pop-up headlights to a mid-engine car, so there's a lot of questions. The main one is, what does X19 mean? Why did they name it the X19?
Well, why did they name it the X19?
Well, X1 says it means passenger car.
Okay.
And it's the 9th edition. So it was actually the production number for the car.
Oh, okay.
And they just kept it. So I think X0 is for engines and X2 is for transmissions or something. So X1 was passenger car, the 9th edition that they had out there. So it just stuck with the car, and that's where it came out. So
Cool.
about 160,000 of them were made. It was not a short run car. It ran from 1972 to 1989.
Wow, I did not know that.
The difference is in 1982, Fiat stopped importing cars to the United States. So Bertone continued to manufacture the vehicle and sell it through 1989 without the Fiat badging. So you'll have Bertone badges where the Fiat badges are.
Really?
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting the way you look at it. 100,000 of them came to the United States, and in 2018, the last registered number that we could find online, there was just over 1,000 of the cars still licensed and being driven, assumedly. It's the coolest, fastest, slow car you could ever drive.
Coolest, fastest, slow car.
It's not meant for comfort, and you do fit pretty well, even with the roof on. Everybody's like, well, if you put the roof on, you can't fit, because I'm not a small guy, but with the roof, it actually gives you another inch over the top of the roll bar,
Okay.
or the C-pillar bar, and so you can fit in the car. Now, getting in and out is not a graceful thing. So
Kind of roll out of it.
you do, but you're nice and close to the ground. So the funny thing is, everybody talks about how short it is. It actually has some pretty good ground clearance on it. So it's not like you're sitting on the ground. It's definitely a go-kart-ish feel. And driving the interstate, it's not a real great interstate car because it's not really creature comfort. The seats aren't really well padded or anything like that. And it does get kind of squirrely at 70 miles an hour. It feels like it wants
Wind
to...
buffeting a little bit.
Yeah. And if you have the top off, it catches a lot of air. So you kind of get a weird shake. But if you go to a country road that's out in the middle of nowhere with some turns, it's literally some of the most fun you can have for as little money as you can get into one of these, if you can find one.
Well, that's it. That's a wrap on the first ever episode of Car of the Week. Chet, I do want to thank you. Being the guinea pig on the first one, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. You didn't know what to do. You didn't know what to expect. But I think it turned out pretty good. And if anybody out there would like their car featured in Car of the Week, just please let me know. You can go to the About page of my YouTube channel and click to view the email address and just simply shoot me an email, and we'll try to schedule something and get together and get episode 2 of Car of the Week going. So I hope you liked it. Just please remember to like, share, comment, hit the subscribe button down there for me. I'd really appreciate that. And as always, hang loose and keep shiny side up. Thanks.